from coppers to Cambridge. Spot the alliteration. Where the university's library has been accused of blacklisting books in a sinister new decolonising drive. Librarians, who look after an astonishing 10 million books in Cambridge, are asking lecturers to flag problematic texts that might be harmful or offensive. The memo has triggered a backlash from dons, who fear wading into the culture wars sets a dangerous precedent. One professor called it alarmist and Orwellian, while another demanded that librarians stop sitting in judgment. A library spokesperson said it does not censor or remove content unless it is illegal.
Illegal content.
Obviously, an inferior history faculty like Cambridge, this does not surprise me. You're meant to ask her which one I went to, Kevin.
Not interested.
You have to care first.
Don't care. Don't care.
So hard for being on the show. I feel
Really
so
don't
isolated.
care. Really don't care. So carry on.
Anyway, as somebody who I work, I'm a historian, and I worked with a huge number of women born at the beginning of the century, fighting in World War II or serving in World War II, and then dying 100 years later, some of them. These were real outliers. And what I found most useful was being able to go to some of the, yes, very colonial texts, shockingly colonial texts, that were telling these girls in their primary schools they were white and superior to the other races in the empire, to understand the mental leaps they had to make, to then serve alongside women of colour, which a few of them did, to then travel with them on their journey, so that one aged 99 said in the middle of the Black Lives Matter protests in 2021, when it was the 80th anniversary of conscription for women, saying, I wish I had known then what I know now. I would have pushed back against my superiors who told us to hold men of colour in this case, who were American camps of men of colour, at arm's length.
So are you in favour of censorship of books or not?
Did you enjoy that?
I didn't get it.
I was just waiting for the...
Very interesting.
Did you find it interesting? Hey, it was interesting on the talk. No, the point is that I needed those texts. I needed those unabridged school books they were, to show me, they said, black people have almost smaller brains, was what they were telling kids of the empire 120 years ago.
And that's the point.
We need
if
to
you
know
erase history, you don't learn from history. How can you possibly learn what society did, which was so appalling and so oppressive, if you erase or start to highlight all of these books and problematic? I find it problematic that you've got this, I don't know, edict going in the first place.
And you also have to look at the quality of graduates you're pumping out. If you're actually saying these texts are too triggering for these students to actually read and ruminate over and actually come up with their own independent judgments, you are producing lower quality graduates. And for me, it is the societal implications of this. I I understand you're a historian, you're an academic, this is your job, but I am actually thinking, these people are going to be hired by HR departments, they're going to be working in companies, they're going to be civil servants, they're going to be in government. If they've mollycoddled their whole lives, if they've not been exposed to certain content that they might find offensive, how are they going to behave when in the workforce? And we already see it. We already see the people being, funneled up the BBC talent development program, the kinds of stuff that they write. We see the students and graduates in HR companies talking about, I need my pronouns on my name badge. What?
Just because I feel I must give balance here, because Kevin's hardly
wait a second.
riding a liberal horse.
Let me get in. You're not going to hear this very often, but I agree with Tessa.
Oh, wow.
You should not ban books.
Are you
the Nazis banned books. So forget this entire narrative. Get rid of it. Right. All books should be available.
Yeah.
But just the library has argued they are recontextualising their holdings.
Even
because of the legacy of colonialism and occupation.
Allow people to make up their own minds.
Allow people to make up their own minds.
You were right, Tessa.
We should absolutely have these texts available. I think most reasonable people realise that stuff that was written in the past says all manner of awful things. And otherwise you recontextualise everything. We know that if you go back to a sitcom from the 1970s, there are a whole range of social stereotypes that wouldn't be acceptable and written to...
And recontextualise for whose benefit? Seriously, who is complaining?
But it's all this narrative. It comes from the basis that we assume that we, the modern generation, we are the best, the most perfect generation that has ever lived.
Exactly.
And we can look down on all these former generations. And we're not. We're useless. Look at us.
Far be it from me to interrupt you when you're mid-flow and agreeing with me, but we now must move on.